second grade Cougars. This is Mrs. Belatesh, and we're going to learn about a pond environment. A pond is a freshwater environment, and I'm over here by my fish tanks. I've got the goldfish over here. I've got the guppies right here, and I have the turtles behind me. Okay, so we're going to read about a freshwater habitat. Water lilies live in ponds. Their roots grow in the mud at the bottom of the pond. In the spring, they grow big leaves called pads. The pads come up to the surface where they can get sunlight. If the pond freezes in the winter, the leaves die. Dead leaves are winter food for animals living under the ice. Frogs and perch live in ponds. So that is a picture of a water lily. Very pretty. Frogs can live in water. They can also live out of water. Sometimes they sit on lily pads. They are waiting for insects to eat. Frogs use their long, sticky tongues to catch their food. When startled, frogs leap into the water with their strong legs. Ooh, what is a beautiful frog. See all those little bumps, those like little warts type of thing growing all over the frog. Okay. Perch can find shelter under lily pads. Their color and pattern make them hard to see, so they are kind of camouflaged, right? Perch wait in the shadows for insects to eat. If surprised, perch dart to safety using their broad tails and fins. All right, so that is a freshwater habitat. There are a couple of different freshwater habitats. There is a wetland, there's a pond, there's lakes and rivers. So this was just one of them, a pond. Now it's freshwater because it doesn't have salt water. There's no salt, it's not the ocean. Okay, we're gonna take a closer look at the fish and the turtles, and then we're gonna look at some other animals that live in a pond. All right, I'm at my goldfish tank. I have got a bunch of beautiful goldfish swimming around in there. They seem very happy. So this is a freshwater tank. It does not have any salt water in it. I've got some goldfish in here. Oh, it looks like I think they're all goldfish. They're a fish, they're vertebrate, they're cold-blooded, they're covered with scales. They have like a slime on their skin to help them slide through the water better. These are the goldfish. Okay, let's take a look at the guppies. The guppies are much smaller, but boys and girls, even though they're smaller, they are adults. These are not baby goldfish, but I do think I have some baby guppies up here. Let's see where. There were some tiny little babies who seem to have hatched just recently. Oh, no fishing. Let's see. Maybe not. Oh, there's a little one. So these are guppies. And one way to know which is a male or a female, the females are the plain gray ones and the males are the ones with the fancy tails. Excellent. And finally, here are my turtles. Turtles are a beautiful reptile that lives in fresh water. There are some seawater turtles, but these are freshwater turtles. They can hold their breath for a very long time. All right, turtles. Okay, so now I'm going to share some of these cards that come with the information about the freshwater habitats, specifically a pond. And the first one is a turtle. And it says these turtles live in ponds, rivers, and lakes with muddy bottoms. They eat snails, insects, spiders, crayfish, and frogs. So they only eat other animals, so they are carnivores. They eat snails, insects, spiders, crayfish, and frogs. Okay, so a frog. It is a reptile. It likes to live in a pond and a wetland. Its predators are minks and bears. And females can lay 12 to 14 eggs once or twice a year. Beautiful. So that is a turtle. The next one is a toad. A toad. Toads live in moist places. Pond is moist. They eat insects, so they are insectivores, which is a kind of specialty of a carnivore. They are an amphibian. They live in a pond, wetland, grassland, and a temperate forest. Their predators are catfish, minks, turtles, and herons, which is a kind of bird, will eat tadpoles. And tadpoles are part of the life cycle of a frog or a toad. Interesting fact, toads' musical voices can be heard for long distances. Hello, toad. I don't know if you've read those books, Boys and Girls Frog and Toad. I love those books. Okay, the next one is a salamander. A salamander lives in mud and caves. It eats small snails and insects, also a carnivore. It is an amphibian. It lives in a pond and a wetland. Its predators are minks, herons, and water shrews. And females lay 6 to 36 eggs underground or in a rotting log. There we go, a salamander. Alrighty, next animal is a mayfly. Mayflies live in freshwater streams, ponds, and lakes. They eat algae and dead material. So it's interesting because on the one hand, they are a herbivore because they eat algae. Algae is a green plant, but they also eat dead material, so that makes them a decomposer, something that they kind of recycle things. Okay, they are an insect. They live in a pond and a wetland. Their predators are fish, birds, frogs, toads, salamanders, spiders, and turtles. And the adult lives only a day or two and does not eat. What? That is an incredible fact. I did not know that. So the adult only lives 1 or 2 days and does not eat at all. So probably what it does is it hatches out of its pupa, it finds a mate, it mates, it reproduces, and then dies. Wow, short life. Mallard duck. Oh, this makes me think of Lucky. These ducks live in ponds, lakes, marshes, and streams. They eat aquatic plants, algae, and snails. It is a bird. A duck is a bird. It lives in a pond or a wetland. Its predators are bald eagles, minks, skunks, and raccoons. Duck legs are set toward the rear of their bodies, which causes them to waddle as they walk. Very interesting, but it must be important in terms of balance. Okay. Aha! This is a cattail, which is a special type of plant. Cattails grow in or near ponds, marshes, and lakes. They make their food from sunlight. This process is called photosynthesis, right? Plants make their own food through photosynthesis. It is a plant. It lives in a pond or a wetland. Its predators are ducks, geese, moose, and elk. And all parts of the cattail were used by Native Americans for food and to weave baskets and mats. Oh, there's a couple of places I like to go hiking, and there's like a little stream at the bottom, and they have cattails there. I think they're cool. Brook trout. Shelter. Brook trout live in cool streams. I like the way they gave us that extra detail, that it can't be a hot stream, it has to be cool. And they eat aquatic insects and algae. So they are an omnivore. They eat plants and animals. It's a fish. It lives in a pond and wetland. Its predators are bears, minks, bald eagles, herons, bigger fish. And its interesting facts are that many people like fishing for and eating brook trout. I'm not much of a fisherman or fisher person, but I sure do like to eat brook trout. Aquatic snail. Oh, I have some snails in my fish tanks. These snails live in fresh water. They eat algae, plants, and dead materials. It is a mollusk, and it lives in a pond or a wetland. Its predators are fish, birds, and turtles. And its interesting fact, snails are both male and female. at the same time, boys and girls. One snail is both a boy and a girl, or both a male and a female. Okay, so now I'm going to draw a little picture of a pond. Okay, so boys and girls, I don't know if you can tell, but Mr. Matt drew this picture for me of the pond. So in the pond habitat, I have a fish, and I have a salamander, and I have a duck, and a turtle, and a frog, and a snail, and a mayfly, and the cattails. You know, he is such a good artist, that Mr. Rivera. So I wrote, the pond is a freshwater habitat that provides shelter and food for many different organisms. Plants include cattails, water lilies, and algae. Animals include insects, fish, and amphibians. These plants and animals are adapted to live in a freshwater habitat. And I have that amazing picture that Mr. Rivera drew for me. So, boys and girls, I want you to draw a picture of a freshwater habitat, and I want you to write a little bit about the plants and animals that live there.